Hey guys, Frankie here, and today isn't a normal video. Today I actually wanted to share something kind of fun. So a few weeks back, I was invited to be a guest on the podcast When I Grow Up. It's a fantastic podcast run by Kelsey Knutson. It's all about life, business, money, marketing, and a lot more. I definitely recommend you check out the podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice and consider subscribing to it if you dig it. So today I'm going to share just 15 minutes or so of highlights from the 45-minute episode that is actually out now. If you like the highlights, it'd be awesome if you listen to the full episode. I think it's called Pay Off Debt, Publish Your Own Book, and Make Money Doing What You Love. As you might expect, we talk about my money resolution story, how my first book came about. We talk about YouTube, passive income, finance tips, what's next for me, and a lot more. I think you're really going to enjoy, hopefully, getting to know me a little bit more. And if you or someone you know has a podcast and would like to have me as a guest, definitely don't hesitate to get in touch. Shoot me an email, frankie@themoneyresolution.com. Anyway, enjoy the episode highlights and let me know what you think.
Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another episode. And this week is going to be really interesting because I have Frankie with me and he's a money guy, but there's a lot more to him. He does YouTube, he has a marketing background, and just a really cool personal story on his journey with finances. And he's on a mission to kind of help inspire people and give them tools to manage their own money in a really just like actual easy to do way. So I'm super excited to have you here. I don't even know what we're going to talk about because we could talk about everything. Obviously, money is a huge part of your story and your journey. So tell me a little bit like your personal journey with finances. If you could first share where you're at today and then kind of walk us backwards on how that all started.
Where I'm at today is in much better shape. By no means am I like super well off or anything, but money was this thing that I avoided, my whole life. Like I would say I was reasonably responsible with money, but I didn't pay much attention to it. It was like, I had my emergency fund of a couple $1,000s and I'm pretty sure I'm contributing to a 401k when I'm at the job. I think someone set that up for me. But it's one of those things, when you're in your 20s or you're just out of college, like you're not thinking 20, 30, 40 years down the line. And the problem was the student loan stuff. I had the 30,000 from undergrad. I had now 50,000 from grad school. And I was just paying the minimum for years and years and years because I could, right? And I couldn't afford to do a lot more. So I thought 300, 350, something like that. And one day I sat down and looked at it and I realized this was more recently, just 3 years ago, the minimum isn't even impacting the balance. It is literally all going to interest, which means I will infinitely be in debt. So that was the first sort of aha moment. Like I got to do something about this. But the other part of it was when credit card debt started to rack up. And it wasn't anything like extreme or awful, but it hit 5 figures and then it hit 14, 15,000. So one day I just had this like enough is enough like moment and I have to fix this. That sort of brings me to the money resolution. And I just decided my New Year's resolution, I've never been able to stick with one, was going to be money. It was just one word, money. I didn't know what that meant because I didn't know what I didn't know. And I just committed for this next year, I am going to just immerse myself in this world. I'm going to learn all things money. I'm going to fix my life financially in 1 year. And I did. I just like completely obsessed. Like first it was, let's just take care of these credit cards. I knew like that is bad debt. And that was stacking up on me. But it was everything else, like getting everything consolidated, all these old 401ks, there wasn't a lot in them, but tracking them down, rolling them over. And I just tracked all my wins, everything I was learning in a stupid little notes app, the notes app on your iPhone.
Yeah.
I was just writing everything down like month by month, like day by day, everything I was doing. And so long story short, by the end of the year, I think I had increased my net worth by close to $50,000. And I was looking through this like early December, I think it was almost mid-December. And I was looking through this and I was like, there's so much information in this one note on my phone. Like I have to do something with this information. And so I sat down and I was like, I think I could turn this into like a short ebook. And then I realized I could just turn this into a real book. And so, yeah, I just got right to work on that. And you kind of know, I've now written 2 books and this turned into a YouTube channel and a course eventually. And this whole sort of like brand now, I guess, around the money resolution that I've just had so much fun building and just teaching people that money is not as hard as it seems and that it doesn't need to be such a taboo topic.
So cool. And I love that, like, it didn't just happen to you. Like it took it getting to a serious place where you had to deal with it and you had to figure it out. It wasn't just like, oh, my parents were financial people, boom, I just know what I'm doing. And I think people oftentimes don't face their stuff like that, you know? And I think money is a huge one. Is for me, that's something I'm passionate about. You and I geek out on it quite often, but it's because so many people just don't deal with it. And that's why I'm like, you got to deal with it. And then from there you can make change, but you have to deal with it first.
And this whole idea about passion that we were talking about, this was one of those things I never thought was going to be a passion I'd discover. And so it's one of those weird situations where like a passion sort of found me. And just going back to what we talked about, I thought I was going to be in the sports world my whole life. And maybe keeping that passion separate has been a really good decision. And instead, this thing found me that I just am so absorbed with and obsessed with now that I'm sure I'll always be. I just call myself a money nerd.
How's your mindset around money kind of evolved over time? Like, where is it at today? Where was it previously?
I walk this fine balance now of this, like, is this frugal or is this cheap? It's like, I never want to be cheap, but, you know, it used to be just spend money. There's this whole like spectrum, I think, of personality that everyone sort of fits somewhere on the spectrum of how they think about money, where they just YOLO it is on the one end and then cheap is on the far other end. And I wasn't YOLO, I wasn't quite there, but I wouldn't call myself responsible or even really like self-aware of my financial situation. And now everything, like it's really corny to talk about like the latte factor, like, oh, if you just skip that one coffee a day and you invested that $5 instead. But it really is true. Like you don't have to give up your coffee per se, like if that's the thing you love, but it really made me start thinking about everything else, all the other little things in my life that I could, at least for a little while, like go without, like maybe just cancel Netflix for a month. If you really miss it, then turn it back on. That's fine. But at least just challenging yourself to like, could I do a little bit better? And a little bit better really helps. It's like, if you usually go out to a restaurant 5 times in a month, pull back to 3 this month. And that's $100 or something you're saving. And then that $100 invested, right? Once you have a plan. So it's just kind of always now in the back of my mind with everything I'm doing, but you have to resist letting it take over, because that's, again, where we border into cheap and you're not living your life. So I think there's just a really fine line, a really nice balance that you can find of living now. And I'm in a big, expensive city here in Seattle, and I'm able to save half my income. And that's my goal. And I think it all comes down to goal setting, which is somewhere I was not at all. Never thought I would set financial goals, you know, even 5 years ago. Know that there is a lot of help out there, because I think people think, well, I'm in a tough situation, so I have to go see a financial planner. You don't have to do it that way anymore. There's so many free tools, so much free information that you really can DIY your money and make huge strides if you just get invested and commit to it. I'd say resolved about it. And the last thing I'd say is, it's just small efforts. You don't have to do it all at once. You're not going to change. I turned my financial life around. I didn't change my finance. I was still in debt, you know, after year 1. But once you start to experience small wins and you start to see those small wins stack up, you get really, really motivated. And then what's really cool is when you reach net worth 0, that was like I literally celebrated that day, because it's so fun when you can carry those skills that got you out of debt and continue to do those. And now you're watching the needle go positive. There's nothing more exciting, right, than hitting, now it's over 6 figures positive. And it's like, wow, over $200,000 in 3 years. The sky feels like the limit now. Once you just do this consistently, again, just those small efforts, that mindset that you just carry with you everywhere you go. Yeah,
I think that's key. And something you said, maybe even by accident, was that the tools you're using to get out of debt are the same tools you also have to implement beyond that. It doesn't just stop there, because I too also had student loans, paid them off. Mm-hmm. I'm debt free and a business owner. And if I had just stopped using all the tools that I know, I probably would have got back into it. So it's a continual practice that you're constantly fine tuning.
A lot of people do go straight back into debt. You're absolutely right. They celebrate, like get really serious about it. Maybe that's their New Year's resolution. My fiance, that was her resolution. I'm going to pay off my credit card, you know, a couple of years ago when I was doing it too. And she did, and she didn't go back into debt, but it would be so easy for many people once they pay off that 5 figures is, I earned that vacation now. I'm going to go do that, or I'm going to go splurge and whatever, go get a new car or something like that. And then you're just right back where you started. So it is key it's all about habits and systems, right? It's not, there's no quick fix. But once you build the systems and you build the habits, once you get to where, you know, basically ground zero again, I was celebrating, everything from there just becomes a lot easier as long as you stay with those habits and in fact, build on them. We feel like we're all going through this together alone. We're all going through this together. and this is like one of those things we don't talk or share, but friends have ideas, and like, hey, you can say no to things once everyone knows, sort of put it out there in the open. I'm working on my goals. I can't go to that happy hour. I can't do this thing, or no, let's have movie night in instead, or of going out, or whatever it is. So I do think just like talking and being comfortable talking about it is key, which is why I'm like, I got to share this in a book. I got to start a YouTube channel. I got to get on Kelsey's podcast.
Yes. Yeah. So perfect transition. I was going to ask you about the book. Obviously you had your massive notes thing that was initially going to be just like a small thing, but it's a legit, you can buy his book on Amazon right now. Both of them. Yeah,
both of them. Yep. There's the Money Resolution, and then Money You Can Hack It came out this last June. And you can get them in 4 different versions: paperback, hardcover, ebook, audiobook, which I narrated both of those myself. One of them just recently came out. And I think that's the other thing, like the day and age we live in with technology and the access to like creating passive income and side hustles and everything else that online, and a lot of people did evolve. They were forced to over because of COVID and everything else. I had no idea that just anyone could go self-publish a book and earn passive income, and then turn that book, that ebook, into a paperback and now a hardcover. This is sort of new to Amazon. And if you have a couple of hours on a weekend, record it as an audiobook, and boom, there you go. That it cost me no money. It's just a few hours. Now that's out there as another income stream. And it's not, I'll say this, if anyone's thinking about writing a book, you're not going to get rich from writing a book. There is no way. Yeah. But I think it builds authority, and it gave me a lot of content that I could bring to life on video as well, which was really exciting.
Awesome. And through that, you're also still working your full-time job.
Yep. Yeah. So I have 2 full-time jobs, and we're planning a wedding. So I have 3 full-time jobs.
I'm glad you say that. Your fiance is going to enjoy that you added that in.
Yeah. We are planning a wedding. I'm very involved. Yes. It's very important, guys.
How it should be.
Yes.
But how do you balance all of that? Like, where do you fit stuff in? What advice would you give to someone doing, because you enjoy doing both. It's not, like you're in a unique situation there.
Yeah. I'm really lucky. I enjoy doing all 3 of those things. So none of them, it's funny. I say, when I'm talking to her, I got to go do work, or I got to go do work. So like, she knows the difference of which one's which.
Yeah.
Work is my 9 to 5, but I'm going to go work on my stuff. That's Money Resolution. So, you have your 9 to 5. I also have a 5 to 9. I say weekends are like everything. That's my secret weapon, is the weekend. She likes to sleep in a little. Well, she doesn't like to sleep in. I like to get up really early, which is also not anything I used to be like 5 or 10 years ago. Never thought I'd be an early bird, but yeah, 6:30 a.m. or so, even on the weekends, I'm consistently up. I'm putting in a couple hours Saturday morning, Sunday morning. If I'm working on a YouTube video that has to get posted by 9 a.m., I'm 6 o'clock wrapping up the edits and the upload process and hitting that submit button. And then I'm going straight to my 8:30 meeting. And in the corner of my eye, I'm looking at comments, because that's sort of the best part of it. So none of it feels like work like that. And that's the coolest thing about this is, I say like some people say life's too short to like do something you don't love. I sort of disagree with that. I think life's too short to do something you don't at least like. So I like my job, but I love my business, I guess I could call it by now. Yeah. Love it. I think if you are interested in, content creation or passive income, pick 2 platforms is what I would say. So we were even saying, just before hitting record, that I was like, oh, you got to put these interviews on YouTube, and, just reusing content as much as you can. So I picked YouTube and Medium. Right now, I'm just choosing those 2. I'm ignoring, for the most part, social media, because even just opening up Instagram, it takes me down a rabbit hole. I'm like, what did I come here for? I was like, oh yeah, just to like post that I posted a video. Like, I need to get off this thing. So pick 2 things and really try to master those. Start with 1.
Yeah.
Once you master 1, move over to a second and try to reuse content and batch content. That's key.
Okay. Your whole finance journey, you have a business, like your money business is a business. So how does your view on finances impact how you manage your business finances?
Yeah. And good question. And I see why you're asking. I'm asking you this question sometimes when we're not talking on here. So it's funny you ask. I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn for sure. I created a separate account for all the different income streams. They all now go into an account that's just totally separate. It's within my own bank account, but you can easily, tip for everyone out there. You can create for free just different savings accounts within your own bank. for all your different goals or for all your different jobs or however you want to do it. So that helps me track all the income going in one place. And then I got a business credit card. I think it's Chase Inc. All my business expenses go on there. And so in terms of that, I have it pretty organized. But I will say what I'm not doing a great job of right now is like I'm running ads on Amazon for my books. Those cost a lot of money. So what I really need to do is like one of these days sit down and look at the spend versus what I bring in terms of the royalty, which is like 40% of each purchase. And I'm probably operating at a loss. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, because this is an awareness thing and this and that. Your book is like your business card. So far, that's sort of where I'm at. But again, I think I even texted you recently, like, how do I pay my quarterly tax? Like, what income level do I have to start paying quarterly taxes? How does that work? So those are things I'm still, figuring out as we go. But don't let those things hold you back. Learn as you go. That's the best way to do it.
I'm glad you said that, because I think that people just, oh, you're good at money, so you're good at all of it. Business and personal is different. They're two different beasts. And so just because you are figuring out, the personal stuff, which is a great place to start, and I actually encourage people to start there, you do have to address your business finances, and that looks different. That means saving for taxes and having a tax account. And I'm a believer of profit first model. So I put aside money, profit first every month. That you're learning that firsthand as you're doing it, but you're just doing it and going through it along the way.
I never thought that entrepreneurship or running my own business, like growing up, I never thought that was going to be something I was so passionate about. Like I just didn't know I had it in me. And I think people can surprise themselves when they take a risk.
That's awesome. How does your marketing background kind of impact your finance business?
I know what I should be doing to grow the personal business, but I'm like, I am so like, right now I'm just so laser focused on content creation that I wish I had that extra time, those extra hours to like really cultivate community. I do reply to every single comment on YouTube. Like that is a thing I'll never stop doing. But in terms of building that email list, I tried to get really serious this year about lead magnets, giving away stuff for free in exchange for an email address. I'm really just in the heads down, like, let's just give away our best content for free. And eventually I'm hoping this will really pay off in a bigger way, especially when I can commit to paying attention to this business 100% with all of my focus.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And just honest. I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
What about,
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed those clips. Again, to check out the full episode, find the podcast When I Grow Up and look for the episode called Pay Off Debt, Publish Your Own Book, and Make Money Doing What You Love. Kelsey's podcast is fantastic. Like this video if you liked, subscribe if you loved, and you want to hang out with me more often. Have an awesome week or weekend ahead. I appreciate your time as always, and I'll see you in a few days on the next one. I'm super pumped about the next one, by the way. Thanks, guys.